вот уже треть жителей США в возрасте от 18 до 24 лет верят, что Земля плоская, а почти 15% американцев в возрасте за 30 с ними согласны.
Никому не нравится чувство, что мы находимся на маленьком шарике, который несется сквозь Вселенную. Да, закроют программы с астрофизическим и космическим уклоном. Оставшиеся естественные науки, как биология, геология, океанология, археология и другие, должны быть полностью обновлены.
Hold him. Now you listen to me, you hillbilly punk who thinks the world's still round. I'm here to tell you it's not. It's flat!
He's an interesting guy, man, and, you know, he believes it, so. Kyrie, the earth is flat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, whatever.
The earth is flat, that's news.
That's news. There we go.
Wherever you are, make it Truth Frequency Radio.
Can you count, suckers? I say the future is ours. If you can count. Now look, what we have here before. We've got the stars sitting next to the Jones Street Ball. We've got the Moon Runners right by the Van Cortlandt Range. Nobody is wasting nobody. That is a miracle. And miracle is the way things ought to be.
Broadcasting straight to you from a large spaceship, currently hovering over a dark part of Texas. What's all that negative energy down there? Oh, it's just John B. Wells, attacking Flat Earth again. Why all the hostility, man? Hello, everyone, and welcome to Strange World, where the truth is often stranger than fiction. I'm your host, Mark Sargent, the creator of Flat Earth Clues, which propose that all of us are living inside a Truman Show enclosed structure thousands of miles wide. Check it out at marksargent.com, enclosedworld.com, or just Google Flat Earth Clues. If you can't find it, you're under the dark part of the Force, also known as John B. Wells. For those of you listening to this on YouTube and want to hear the show live as it happens, please go to Truth Frequency Radio for the latest schedule. Currently, the show is on Tuesday nights at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. And if it is not Tuesday night, January 10th, 2017, then you are not listening to it live. So please do not call the phone number that I am going to give you, because it is a call-in show. We are going to take calls, and we are going to read emails, and we're going to do all sorts of fun stuff. First off, we give the show number out at 720-897-6111. That phone number again is 720-897-6111. And remember, karma is like a fog. It'll hunt you down eventually. So don't be mean, because no matter where you go, there you are. you probably noticed the different intro music, and that is because just recently, and by that I mean the beginning of 2017, it appears that Joe Jackson has gotten partial rights back to some of his song collection, including his biggest hit, Steppin' Out. I mention that because just recently I noticed that some of my older shows were not showing up in the search engines on YouTube. And that is because Joe Jackson has now, so it looks like about 75% of his music is controlled by the record company, but he owns it looks like maybe 25%. So like 1 in every 4 Strange World shows were being blocked worldwide because David Ian Jackson, that's his real name. It's not Joe Jackson. It's David Ian Jackson. Doesn't even care if it's monetized. He doesn't want it out there at all. He is touring again. Apparently, he's been touring again since about 2015. He released a new album, and he's really big on the whole copyright thing. So I'm going to try to get away from the straight up copyright stuff. So you'll hear a different intro song. So it's not AC/DC Thunderstruck anymore. And the top of the hour song is going to be a different one. It's not going to be Tusk by Fleetwood Mac. And the Joe Jackson one's going to be a cover. We'll see if the copyright people can detect a cover or not. If not, then I'll change that one too, because I know everyone loves Joe Jackson. And of course, I love seeing the tagline for Joe Jackson. So anyway, just want to get that out of the way. And if you guys really like the music, next week I will tell you who it is. It is actually a listener created this music, and the first track, of course, was an homage to The Warriors, a fantastic 70s movie about street gangs in New York, and the top of the hour one is going to be an homage to Dr. Strangelove, a Stanley Kubrick movie, which was what gave him license to really do 2001: A Space Odyssey. Anyway, let's just move on, shall we? Let's talk about the Victoria event real quick. And that is, it is not going to be a Canada Flat Earth mixer. I'm going to read you the ad that you'll see on Facebook and all the other stuff, and of course we'll talk about it next week as well. The ad reads something like this. It's called Towards an Earthly Cosmology, Rethinking Our Terrestrial Home, Voices of Cascadia.wordpress.com. It is going to be January 21st, noon to 4 p.m., there is a cover charge of $30. I believe there's food at the Sook, Sooke Yoga Studio. That's at 6750 West Coast Road in Sook, Canada. Also, oh yes, the quote of the day. I'm sorry, Peanut Gallery. I'm jumping all over the place. The quote of the day. Peanut Gallery works so hard on these quotes. The quote is, "A fact is a simple statement that everyone believes. It is innocent unless found guilty. A hypothesis is a novel suggestion that no one wants to believe. It is guilty until found effective." And that's from Edward Teller, Hungarian-born physicist, 1908 to 2003. Anyway, back to the Victoria event at 6750 West Coast Road, Sook, Canada. And the little description is science the final say in the discourse of all things earthly? What alternative ideas exist that challenge the current models of our universe in the scientific, mythological, and experimental realms? Finally, why is it important to revisit cosmology in an age of scientism, and what new and ancient discoveries are awaiting us by renewing our spirit of investigation? Join Green Man for an in-depth presentation, heated discussion, and holistic foods prepared by nature's chef Tom Krall, that's Kral, and your host, Dante. Your world will never be the same. Special guest, Mark Sargent, a startling geocentric investigator and radio host discussing his chapter, Hiding God, in the wildly successful Flat Earth Clues series at marksargent.com. And you can email this guy at voicesofcascadia@gmail.com, and that's voices of CASCADIA. And, I'll do this again next week as well. So it is not an official Flat Earth mixer. That Flat Earth mixer that you guys are thinking of, that'll probably be in Seattle. Again, this year will be in April, late April, so probably on Earth Day. So don't worry, we'll do that. This is sort of a thing where this, I'm just kind of the guest speaker, and I'm not really organizing it at all. I'm just showing up, talking a little bit. But if you guys are up there, if you guys are in Canada and you want to meet me, it'll be on the 21st. Love to, chat, rub elbows with you guys, It's from noon to 4, so I think it'd be fairly casual. So anyway, that's it on that. Oh, what else we want to do? Oh, right. The title of this show is going to be, when I post it, is going to be Flat Earth Good, John B. Wells Bad. It's really about as simple as I can get it. And that is, he's been, so anyone wants to call in and wants to vent on John B. Wells, if you haven't heard already, he's attacking Flat Earth in no small way. He's mentioning stronger than Joe Rogan did on his shows and really coming at us with a lot of negative energy. And so, first off, because depending on how old you are, you may not even know who this guy is because he's older. He's from the radio generation, actual radio, not podcasts. He's from the old days. So I had to look him up, and it was kind of tough to find a decent bio on him. The closest thing I got in Wiki, and it was only a partial thing in Wiki, it goes something like this: John B. Wells is an American talk radio host, voice actor, and former weekend host of Coast to Coast AM. In addition to his film and television work, Wells has worked at television stations and radio stations across Texas and around the world. He has appeared on international stations such as London's BBC Radio 1, Hamburg's Hit 95 OK Radio, Paris's Radio ADO, and national stations such as KZW, blah, 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 blah. There's like a list of like 20 different stations. American Forces Network and the legendary rock station WEBN. He has been the voice of jingle demos for both Jam Creative Productions and TM Studios. He was an announcer for The Late Late Show with Craig Kilborn. He has done voiceover acting for films such as Houston, The Legend of Texas, Talk Radio, JFK and Hext, and television series such as The Team Knight Rider, Deadliest Catch, Gold Rush, Unsealed Conspiracy Files, and Unsealed Alien Files. He also played Kai Kendall in the film Gone to Texas. In January of 2012, he replaced Ian Punnett, Punnett, as the Saturday evening and the second Sunday evening host of Coast to Coast AM. He was fired in January of 2014 and is now the host of his own subscriber-based program, Caravan to Midnight. Personal life: Wells was born in Missouri and raised in Fort Worth, Texas. He received a Bachelor of Fine Arts with emphasis in theater from Texas Christian University. His interests include, go figure, acting, music, writing, composing, martial arts, and aviation. So it really is personal stuff. Should give you a real nice insight of where he is. Look, he graduated Bachelor of Fine Arts with emphasis in theater. He wanted to be an actor. And he just didn't have the acting chops. However, his voice was very good. He's got a very low, kind of raspy 2-pack-a-day voice. And that opened him quite a few doors in radio. And that's where he stood. He just kept going down the radio path, and that's where he'll die, is in radio. He'll have that voice literally until he croaks. Why is he attacking Flat Earth? Oh, part of it could be because of DITRH, David, who was badgering him for a long time, because we were trying to get different podcasters, some of the bigger ones like Art Bell and George Norrie and John B. Wells, to talk about Flat Earth. And John B. Wells just wouldn't do it. He was one of those people that was going after it in a way that he just didn't want to deal with it. And by that, I mean the denial part. He never could get past that. Remember I said the only defense you have against Flat Earth as a debunker is you just cannot look inside the box. You cannot look inside Pandora's box. Because if you look in it, that's it. The marble's in your head. You're never, ever going to shake it out. He decided, well, I'm just going to deny it. I'm never going to look in it. I'm just going to make fun of it from the outside and let other people make fun of it from the outside, and I'll be somewhat immune from it. And I'd like to get really, really mad at him, of course. Well, it's not my style. But the other thing is that, remember, it's not that he doesn't believe in Flat Earth. He doesn't want to. And that's the same with a lot of people. Nobody wants to believe in Flat Earth. And it upsets him because he's older. He's dealt with a lot of conspiracies and a lot of different things. And that's why he's calling this thing a distraction. His main points, when you look at this guy, and I did a video on him just recently called Flat Earth Enemy, John B. Wells. His main points is he doesn't think that anyone in Flat Earth is serious. about it. He thinks that it's a complete distraction and that it's a psyop. That's old. We've heard that for a while now. And that it's a distraction from other real, more important conspiracies. And he's just, I don't know if he's saying that because he does not want to think that anyone like me, he can't fathom that I actually have been preaching this now for the last 2 years, or almost 2 years, 2 years in February. He just can't, it's so far beyond him. He just can't take it. Plus, Flat Earth undermines, kind of like Richard Hoagland, it undermines most of his work up until now, like a mainstream scientist. Flat Earth destroys all astrophysicists, all astronomers, geodetic surveyors, and some other miscellaneous topics. His work has to be completely reevaluated, and I don't think he has the strength or the motivation to do it. He does not want to look at this thing, because if he does, he's going to have to start over. And I'm not going to say he's too old to start over. He just doesn't have the motivation to do it. So I'll put a challenge out to him. I'm not going to call him names, and I'm not going to do what Flat Earth Asshole did and just start tearing at him. Look, you've got to re-examine this theory like everyone. He's got to understand that nobody goes into this thing thinking it's the greatest idea since sliced bread, including me. I laughed at it. Everybody laughs at it. DITRH's eventual t-shirt will be, I became a flat earther because I tried to debunk it. That's how everyone starts. You try to tear this thing down and you can't do it. But you've got to take a serious look and try to tear it down yourself and look at both sides of the argument. Don't just start throwing stuff out there and don't look at the other side, because there's too many questions. For every scientific statement that's out there from mainstream science, we have 3 or 4 questions on our side that they can't answer, and that's where how the rabbit hole starts, and you start pulling threads here and there, and it never ever ends until finally you come around. So that's my challenge to him. I'm not gonna be mean and say go to Texas and burn the man's house down, because again, he used to be, or he is what we were at some point. Now, granted, he's more stubborn than a lot of people, but that happens. Red's rhetoric still hasn't come around, and he's been dragging his heels for the last year. So anyway, that's enough on John B. Wells for now. Everyone wants to call in and chime in about John B. Wells and their opinions. Are more than welcome, both pro and con. I'd love to hear it. Not saying he's a bad guy. Look, he's done a lot of work in the podcasting field. I just think he's selling himself short. Look, don't say that you're a conspiracy guy and look at something that has so much traction. Look, he's addressing it. That's one thing. He if it was really, really ridiculous to him, he wouldn't even address it. But he knows that it's gotten so much groundswell that he can't even ignore it anymore. Because people just keep writing him, people keep badgering him, and keep trying to convert him. If he doesn't want to be converted, fine. He doesn't have to be converted. But he has to at least acknowledge that it is on par with a lot of bigger things now. Anyone has any doubts about that? Again, look at some of my Flat Earth is the world's secret guilty pleasure videos, which look at the numbers. Go into YouTube, type in Flat Earth and compare it to mainstream topics and see what's out there. It's still monstrous. And plus we have a 99% retention rate, which nobody else has. And I only say 99 because I don't know at any given point if there is somebody that's turned against Flat Earth, although I've yet to see one. I've yet to see someone who was a Flat Earth believer, a Flat Earth follower, has turned against it to date. So, all right. Hey, that's my rant for now. Let's get into emails. Phone numbers, by the way, if you want to call while we email, is 720-897-6111. That number is 720-897-6111. First email is from Andy. Hey, Mark, my name is Andy Salazar. I don't mind if you say my name on air. I'd be happy if you do, as a matter of fact. Anyway, I want to thank you for all the work you're doing in the Flat Earth community, and cause of you, all the other Flat Earth promoters I'm inspired to follow and spread the word. I've been watching all the vids on the subject for almost 2 years and have planted many seeds in a lot of people since I was turned to the bright side. I currently live in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and have lived in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and Los Angeles, California. So I've seen the flat Earth horizon over the ocean and Catalina Island on a clear day to know what you and others like you have pointed out should not be seen on any day if we were on a ball. But I digress. Just wanted to say thank you. I've become a better person spiritually since this realization and treat others much better than before. And believe me, I'm not proud of my past, so I ask forgiveness from the Almighty and try to be better. Oh, and I'm trying to get me a physical model by Chris Pontius. Thanks for putting out that info too, Andy. So thank you very much, Andy. And, real quick, I've repaired, just so you know, I repaired just about every other Strange World episode by pulling out the Joe Jackson stuff. There was only, less than 20 that I had to do. But Strange World episode 38 is still having problems, and so I'm talking with YouTube about it. If they don't have it fixed in the next week, I'll just re-upload 38. And also, I noticed that half of my Ground Zero interview, which was interview 9, that was a long time ago. That was in the middle of 2015. Was erased. The video is still there, but the audio's gone. Thank you for a listener for pointing that out to me. I had no idea where that happened, where they went. Of course, I've got backups to all this stuff, so I won't even deal with YouTube on that. I will just literally go and make a brand new video for the Ground Zero thing and tack it in there. Don't know what happened. It's really, really odd. Could be a conspiracy. You never know. Next one is from Barbara. Barbara says, Flat Earth Model. Hey, Mark, it's Barb from Arizona. I am pleased to be the recipient of the latest and greatest model made by Chris Pontius. I know he uploaded pics and videos of the model, and I can't wait to have it in my living room. I hope to display this at an upcoming party. Regards, Barbara. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, just look up Chris Pontius, Pontius, Flat Earth, and you'll see the models he's been making recently. And Peanut Gallery's been shooting me things. I'm sorry. I get little things from the Peanut Gallery, and I should read them. Quote, 90% of statistics are made up 60% of the time. Funny. And my audio fell off the curve. That's funny stuff. I should also point out that 4 out of 3 people don't understand fractions. And as far as it falling off the curve, what curve is that? Let's see. This one's from Sasa, S-A-S-A. Hi, dear friend. My name is Sasa. Well, I must say that you blow me away. Tell you the truth, that topic about Flat Earth came out about 1.5 years or 2 ago, and I never want to read any of it because I thought that it's a bunch of you-know-what. But a month ago, I broke my leg, and unfortunately, I must be at home all the time until I recover. And yesterday, I came across your post, and I tell myself, what can I lose? Oh my God, I must say you two that you are like a water. I don't know what country she's from. I can drink you the whole day. Ooh, all right. My focus, attention, your well-subscribed facts are amazing. And there's a lot of exclamation points in here. Not because I like conspiracies, but this is a whole new level. It's not a theory, all caps. And to tell you the truth, it is mind-blowing. I have too much questions for you. And the note at the end that you send to the whole world, I want to know, I want to help somehow to be involved in this, but I have to learn a lot. And trust me, I already started. Any help, guidance, pointers from you would be more than helpful because I am new in whole this. Basically, I just started the school. I don't know what to say. I would like you to see this email and answer me, but if this is the real truth, how you and others like me can help. Once again, please answer me, and thank you for this. Have a nice day. All right. Sasa Milosevic. I'm guessing she's Eastern Bloc. I will write her back because I don't know if she actually listens to this, and we will go from there. A couple more we can do before the break. This one is from Plain Mind. Hello, my Flat Earth family member. I am writing to you for two reasons: as a fan and a Flat Earth community member. I have been into the Flat Earth for about 2 years now, and I've watched so many debates and proofs, still never really shedding my skin to get out and just do it, but I have watched and listened. Now, first, I would like to ask if you allow the reposting of your videos. Yes, I do. Absolutely. You guys don't even have to ask. Most of my videos are Creative Commons license on YouTube, which means you can spread them out. As a matter of fact, some people have made a little chunk of change off my videos. They've taken the Flat Earth clues and compiled them. You may have seen them. One is called They Are Hiding God with the Greatest Lie Ever, and the other one is called Under the Dome Full Documentary. Both of them have over 2 million hits. I think they're the highest hit counts of any Flat Earth videos, and they're not even mine, which is awesome. Don't know how much money you get for 2 million hits, but hey, kudos to you. So if anyone wants to steal that stuff, please, by all means. The Peanut Gallery says, hey, can I repost the hotel video from last year's mixer? No, you can't. Sorry, Peanut Gallery. Wow. Let's see here. Always just allowing full credit to go to you as creator. My purpose is to compose a playlist of videos from the Flat Earth community leaders that I find valuable to promoting awareness in my city, which is Boston, Massachusetts. Second, I would like to simply state a hard fact that we seem to ignore every time there is debate or simply proofing of the Flat Earth. And that is when people state they see the curvature out the window of an airplane or at sea, we should hammer them with the fact that if this was so, next question will be, when did you start to experience you sailing or flying over and around it? Because we seem to not pay attention to the fact that no matter how small or big a ball is, it's still a ball. So at some point, traveling around a ball again, no matter the size of your orientation, eventually would have to change from upright starting position to eventually upside down of traveling north to south or any direction while sailing or flying. This is something that frustrates me because it's simply unavoidable, and we need to staple this into the front of our argument in the Flat Earth community. Look at it this way. If we put an ant on a golf ball and watch it walk around north or south, you'll observe the ant's orientation change from upright to eventually upside down. Now simply scale it up to a bigger ball. Same result. Again, it wouldn't matter the same, blah, blah, blah. This is something I hope we stand firm on and push because the globe Earth can't deny this fact. Yes, but at the same time, they're going to say that because gravity is pulling everything to the center of the Earth, you always feel like you're standing upright. You never ever feel like you're upside down. I know it's an old argument. Sort of like the globalists will say, oh yeah, well, the ships are going to fall off the edge. The flat earthers, some will say, well, you don't feel like you're upside down with Australia. Who says that Australia is the bottom? The northern countries are the ones that said that they were the top and Australia was the bottom. Everyone feels, if you believe in the sphere model, again, I get that. There's a reason why this theory is the whole ball globe theory has worked so well over the years, and that is because the arguments they've got most of the details down pretty good, and that is if gravity is pulling to the center, then everybody feels like they're standing upright. Nobody feels upside down. I get where you're going on that, though. Do we have time for one more? We don't. I'm sorry. We don't have time for one more before the break. So number to call in is 720-897-6111. That number again is 720-897-6111.
Sickest people on the planet? If you think the medical community has failed us and that there must be a better way, then you'll want to tune in for the Your DIY Health radio program here on Truth Frequency Radio. The host, Sergeant Jim Ram, retired, was facing a laundry list of chronic health conditions that his physician was telling him were incurable. He became a student of true medical nutrition and learned how he could reverse every one of his ailments with science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. In just a few months, he was able to reverse high blood pressure, gastric reflux, sleep apnea, arthritis, degenerative disc disease, heart arrhythmia, and AFib, and many more. He wants to help you do the same. Tune in to Your DIY Health on Truth Frequency Radio every Thursday from 9 to 11 a.m. Eastern. That's 6 to 8 a.m. Pacific.
Real people, real radio.
Initiating the Truth Frequency.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
Welcome back to Strange World, part 2 of 4. And just before the break, we got a call from 206 area code. If I'm not mistaken, that is Washington State. Is that true?
It is definitely true.
Cool. Where are you calling from, and what are we talking about?
I'm calling from Renton.
Oh, cool. All right.
Yeah. So I'm not really commenting on. I saw the John P. Wells against the Flat Earth a-hole guy.
Yeah.
I'm not calling about that. I'm actually calling about satellites.
Sure.
That's a cool thing. So I guess a little background on me is I've been in telecommunications for about over 19 years now.
Cool.
In about 4 or 5 years, I actually I installed cell towers.
Okay.
From the literal ground up. Had a crew guys that would come in, pour the foundation. They'd put a hut essentially on that foundation. Mm-hmm. And I would go in and I'd hook up the power to the cell switch, like the box that processed the phone call. So what I found was very interesting. This is back in 2003 or 4, where I was doing this work, and we were doing an analog to digital conversion at the time. I'm sorry, I'm really nervous right now.
No, dude, seriously, do not be. I know it's easy for me to say this. No, seriously, the first couple times I did this, I hated doing radio stuff. But just
right.
pretend it's just you and me right now.
All right, cool.
All right, we're not dating, by the way.
Damn it. Well, maybe next time.
All right. I'm not okay. I'm not. It's not off the table. I'm just saying it's probably not. Right.
Anyway. So yeah, no. So what I was doing, I was going to, they'd pour the foundation, put the hut on, put the equipment in there, hook up the power to the equipment.
Yeah.
We run the antenna cables outside to the actual tower, and then that went up and then went to the 3 phases of because you can go to. It's interesting. I've actually seen on a couple different YouTube videos a guy who's saying like, oh, cell towers are death rays, and he talked about 30 million watts, and I'm like, okay, if you do the watts to amp conversion, it's kind of BS, but yeah. Whatever. That's
yeah. Everyone knows it's not the watts that kill you; it's the amps.
Yeah, or that'll kill the actual cells or anything. I mean, it's really your light switch in your house. If you go over the amp, it's going to pop the circuit breaker. That's neither here nor there in this what we're talking about.
Okay.
So anyways, when I went to these sites, I got the cell switch installed, and then I would make sure it talked back to the central office, which is where your actual phone call is processed. Mm-hmm. And then I'd make sure that it was the radios were turned on the cell switch to talk to cell phones, so you could actually. Because I don't know if anybody really knows how phones work. Because you can talk to the average person, like, how does your cell phone or how does your telephone work? And it's, you're a deer in headlights or showing a
it's like asking how a microwave oven works.
Right. Yep. And it actually vibrates the moisture particles in that piece, and they vibrate, and that's what warms you. That's why your pizza is always cold. Anyways. Yeah. So what was really interesting in this whole thing about installing all these, and I didn't realize it at the time because this was like 13 years ago, and my buddy brought it up to me because there's a crew of us. I installed actually about 300 to 350 cell sites in the Puget. Actually, we went all the way up to it's by the border of Canada. I mean, it was literally like a stone's throw away over to Forks, and then down to Ocean Shores area.
Sure.
And then Seattle metro area. Mm-hmm. But what he pointed out, and I didn't realize, because on an antenna on a cell site, there's alpha, beta, gamma, which is you got and it's in a triangle, and you got left, right, that point north, and you got your south, and like cell sites operate in a literal cell manner, mm-hmm. and that's how they all communicate to each other and triangulate. So when we got into the GUI interface, which is graphical user interface of the program to provision this cell site. There's one thing that was in one of the boxes was how many satellites do you see, or how many satellites does the cell site see?
Okay.
And there could be 1, 2, but what they always preferred and what we always had to put in our logs is, does it see 3 or more? because that's what you need for triangulation is 3 or more.
Sure.
And then what my buddy found out and pointed out is like, okay, if you see 2 or 1, that means there's only 2 or 1 other cell sites in the actual area. And sure enough, like everywhere we went, it's like, it wasn't a satellite what it was seeing when I asked for a cell, or when the thing said satellite, it was actually a cell site. And that's how many cell sites you saw, because that was a way for the engineers back over yonder, the guys in the offices, like programming this stuff, like, okay, if they only see like 2 cell sites, we need another one out there so we can get more triangulation out there to, provide more tracking.
So the cell sites counted. They counted as part of the triangulation, even though optimally you wanted satellites.
Well, no, it didn't. Well, I mean, it said in text that what are you seeing as satellites, but it was actually cell sites. Because when you get out to the remote areas, I mean, you don't encounter, like when you go to and this is where I really saw it was out in the Forks, in Mount Octopus, which is still in that area, where they did freaking that vampire movie.
Yeah.
But yeah,
the terrible vampire movie. Yes, I know.
I made it half hour and quit. Anyway,
I don't even want to talk about that movie.
Right, let's not.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's where I really saw it. And I was like, oh my god, he's right. When you're out there, and that's the thing is like if satellites were real and like your phone was actually GPS enabled, wouldn't every phone out there be essentially a satellite phone?
Yeah. Good point.
And they're not. I mean, you go through a tunnel or you go out into a remote area, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, lost signal. GPS is not enabled anymore. So I don't know.
So just to be clear though, I mean, so you basically set up cell towers for a number of years. And all you guys cared about was to make sure there were enough cell towers in an area. But did you ever once see anything that had to connect to that was routed back to a satellite at all?
So, okay, I want to get into that. I'm glad you brought it up. So what we brought up, and I want to say this actually just goes to with like GPS coordinates. We had to put like this little white antenna. It was just a small antenna that went on top of the hut. It didn't even go on the cell tower. It just went on the hut.
Mm-hmm.
And if not on the hut, it went into this like a metal pole, and like you screw it in there.
Mm-hmm.
And that was supposed to be the GPS antenna, but I'm wondering if that was actually just where they start, like where they pinpoint their coordinate more or less. What they had, and what I'm assuming, because I mean, I'm a technician, and I'm not the engineer that's actually
sure,
really making this stuff up.
Oh, I got you.
They had 2 different modules, and they were timing module. One was like $1,000 piece of equipment. And this is like a little 4x4 inch box.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had another like 6x4 inch box. And one was $1,000 and the other one was a $15,000 box. And what they essentially were timing modules. And you go anywhere across the nation and you go to any cell site, and I guarantee you like they have some sort of timing module. And what it essentially goes on is like that timing module goes back through the T1 line, or now it's a fiber optic line that goes back to a central office, which is the central communications of like, well, it's the reason why you and I are talking on the phone right now.
Yeah,
is because there's a central timing system that goes on, and that timing system in the cell site, over the years has gotten more refined, especially since 2003.
Yeah.
And so that's the way. Oh God, I'm losing track here.
No, that's all right. That's all right. We unfortunately we're gonna have to wrap this up pretty soon. So summarize for me. So basically, everything that you saw when you were setting up these cell systems, basically you were creating a land-based system that seemed to have nothing to do with satellites whatsoever.
Correct. The only thing the satellites had to deal with was like some little text message on. But then when my buddy brought it up, like, hey, look, the only reason why you see satellite is because there's a cell site in the area, and that was the only indication that there was a satellite, was because there was another cell site out there.
Huh. All right. Well, that's the challenge I'm going to put out to anybody out there in the community, which is somebody refute what this guy says. Somebody. It's not going to happen because look, I mean, all the other guests I've had, nobody's refuted them once. Anyone in the cell phone industry that's setting up anything, doesn't have to be exactly what this man's saying. If they're setting up cell phone towers and they're integrating them, tell me where you're doing eventually. Somebody knows something about where the satellite uplink is. Somebody somewhere, and yet what you're saying. I mean, yeah, there's dead spots. We all know this. I mean, yeah, we all know that there's a bunch of cell phone coverage everywhere, but there's also dead spots everywhere. And even the flight instructor I had out of I want to say Iowa was he was saying that GPS has massive dead spots domestically, not just offshore.
Yeah,
but domestically, he goes, that shouldn't be possible. I mean, the whole point of the GPS system is there's like 30 plus satellites flying around everywhere. So,
well, I think the thing, one big thing is like everybody always, GPS is global positioning satellites. No, it's global positioning system.
Yeah.
So, anyways, hey, Mark, I really appreciate.
Oh no, thank you. And by the way, you did great. You don't worry about it. Anyone else, and I'll tell other people before they call in. Yeah, thank you for making it through that, and I think you got your points across very well.
Cool. Later.
All right. Hey, have a good one.
Bye.
Bye. All right, phone number to call in is 720-897-6111. That phone number again is 720-897-6111. And, I keep forgetting. I take it for granted because everybody gets a little bit of stage fright, especially when they're calling in. I've talked to people before they call, during the call, after the call. It's like, I was so nervous. I don't blame you because the first couple shows that I did, I think I had a couple of glasses of wine because everyone gets a little bit of stage fright, performance. It's like, I don't, am I going to do okay? Are people going to judge me? I'm never going to judge you when it comes to you getting on and not hitting all your lines perfectly, whatever you were going to say. It just happens. So just kind of just pretend like you're just talking to me. You're calling me and saying, Mark, pretend there's nobody listening on the other line and thousands of people aren't going to listen to this after the fact. And let's try this out with 773 area code, shall we? You are on live with Strange World. Who are you? Where are you from? And what are we talking about?
Hey, my name is Kyle, and I'm from Chicago.
Hey, Kyle. What's going on?
Hey, man. I used to be one of those debunker guys who was like, no, this isn't real. And yeah, man, I kind of got introduced it the same way. I was like, I'm never going to check out this flat Earth thing.
Yeah.
But I heard about the hollow Earth.
Yep, same here.
So and I was like, this is interesting.
Yeah.
And there was like actual kind of proof of Admiral Byrd. And I just started looking into him, dude. And yeah, I'm a little bit nervous too.
No. Again, that's totally okay. But when you were debunking, when you used to debunk stuff, was it like what, World Trade Center and Pearl Harbor and JFK, and just take your pick?
I was kind of an alien kind of guy, conspiracy. Like I was really big into Ancient Aliens, and
I own that, like the DVDs of Ancient Aliens.
It was one of those, excuse my language, but shit sandwiches.
Yeah.
Like, they give you a little bit of good information, but then they really try to mislead you. And at the end of it, it's a lost cause. They kind of have you just waiting for something that doesn't really ever happen.
Like Ghost Hunters. Ghost Hunters that run so many seasons going, how can you run so many seasons when you never actually find ghosts? How does that happen?
Exactly. It's kind of, man. So, but yeah, okay. Admiral Byrd opened up a window, and then, just the Bible too. I wasn't really much of a Bible person, but it's just good that you're out there. Honestly, I don't know.
Well,
thank you.
Oh no, have you checked anybody else? Like, you're not just listening to me, I hope.
No, it's certain people have their agendas, and certain people talk about it. Like you state this stuff in such a good way. Like I've heard other people talk, like, and come on here and be like, man, how you introduce it? Because you can't like tell people, hey, check out this flat Earth thing. Like they're gonna look at you like you're a fool, and it was weird. Like why do people like shun this so much?
Oh yeah,
like, they're like run away from it. But it's like, yo, look at some of these like flat Earth asshole. Like he's funny, he's kind of mean sometimes, but he states this thing over and over again. Tests that normal people can do. Like nothing that a gatekeeper has to stand in the way and say, hey, this is right or that's wrong. Like you can go outside with this $500 camera, Nikon Coolpix Peanut, and go see for yourself.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. Cool Pics really should have somebody in the flat Earth community and officially endorse them because they're getting a lot of sales based on because that's the only camera we ever talk about is the P900 because it's the cheapest camera with that massive zoom on it. That's all we care about. Is all the other features. Who cares? As long as it has a massive zoom and it records, that's all that really matters. But I totally agree with you, man. The again, I can't preach necessarily flat Earth as much as I say, look, just to give it a chance because I hated it too. I mean, I'm open-minded enough. The reason I jumped into it is because I was open-minded enough to watch Matt Boylan's story and a couple other people. I was going, yeah, that's a good story, but there's no way it could actually be flat. And then I started looking into it. I was like, oh no, it can't be, right? And then, like a lot of people, was like, there's no way. Really? Is this actually real? Is this actually happening right now? And to where now, now you know what I'm doing. But yeah, I totally understand where you come from.
I'm trying to inform people. Yeah, I'm trying to get
have you checked out if you're back into the Bible stuff? You checked out Rob Skiba's stuff or Zen Garcia or any of those guys?
I haven't. I'm actually going to have to type those names down and
check
them out.
Just remember this website, and then go to eventually get to Zen Garcia, but start to go to testingtheglobe.com. Testingtheglobe.com, and that was a guy who interviewed me through this network. Actually, he listened to me on Canary Cry Radio, and he brought me on to his show, Rob Skiba, and he thought he was going to debunk me. And he just let me roll. And by the time I was done, he's going, holy smokes, he's got to check it out. And then he started producing stuff and he started getting a lot of hits. And then he produced an entire website called testingtheglobes.com, which looks at it from chapter and verse standpoint. He looks at it and says, okay, I went through every chapter and verse in the King James, I believe. And, he made all these notes and it's a fantastically deep site. So check that out if you want to look into the spiritual side of things.
Definitely a spiritual side. The Bible, I'm a little skeptical on sometimes, just because man likes to corrupt things.
It's a tough read for a bestseller. I got to admit.
But I'm trying to open myself up to it. Like I'm 27 at this point, and at this point you start thinking about God. Like really, you're not like dismissing it completely anymore. You're like,
yeah.
Like, whoa.
This brought me back to the spiritual side. If you've heard my stuff before, where I was like, I distanced. I was a huge churchgoer all the way up until I went to college, and then like a lot of people, I was like, college, and then this brought me back into it, where now it's like I will not do anything malicious towards anyone. I can't. There's no way I'm going to take that chance, and I'm going to use the astronauts as an example, which I used in the clues. Like, look, if the Apollo astronauts won't even lie anymore, swear on a Bible, if they won't even do that anymore, then I don't think I'm going to be taking any chances. So
how they looked too when people were asking them, like back the old footage, like they just were looking down and nervous. Like it was just like they weren't proud.
Oh yeah, that first international press conference, they should have been on a high that they wouldn't have never come down for years. Just smiling all the time, and they all became recluses. They all crawled into a bottle. Neil Armstrong, he didn't talk to anybody until the 90s. And then, did that cryptic message where he said, where he was addressing some science students and said, there's more for you to do if you can peel back one of truth's hidden protective layers. Where does that line come from? How long had he been waiting to say that? He's saying that in front of Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton is standing right next to him. He's going, holy smokes. And I didn't get it, for the longest time. Anyway. I got to do some other calls and emails. Any shout outs you want to throw before you go?
Just to the people that I love here in Chicago, Baxter, Milo, and AP. Yes.
Right on.
But thank you, Mark.
Hey, no worries, and feel free to call in again. You did great.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Seriously, guys. Anybody that wants to call in, don't be nervous. Like tomorrow, for example, it's very possible, just want to give you a heads up, it's not going to be a live show, but I may actually be dragging in my secretary, who always carelessly leaves all my mail on my desk before she leaves. Now, most of the time, she's going back and forth between the bar and the office, so I don't catch her. But I did say, hey, would you mind helping me out with some of my letters? They're getting a little backed up, and the piles on the desk just keep getting higher and higher. And she said, you know what? I'll consider it. So tomorrow, when I do my Q&A emails, you may actually hear my secretary, sometimes irresponsible, but almost entirely unavoidable secretary. She may be reading some of the questions to me to help me out. Just to give you a heads up on that. Phone number to call in is 720-897-6111. That number is 720-897-6111. And while I was on that call, there was another call that came in from 562. I don't know what area code that is from, but feel free to call in again. And while we're waiting from that, let's do email from John Smith. I wonder if that's actually John Smith. Let me look behind the scenes here. No, it is not, but that's okay. We'll go with John Smith. Hi, Mark. Having now seen more than enough Flat Earth videos to understand the whole rationale, I wanted to contact you since your presentations are the most convincing. But I did a little thought experiment this morning, and I believe it settles the whole matter. Please read the below and let me know your thoughts. Peanut Calorie says 562 is Los Angeles. Perfect. What is the horizon? It is that clear dividing line between land and sky. Standing on the shore, looking out to sea, that line is about 3 miles away. On a clear day, the line is sharp. It is 3 miles away because after that distance, the curve of the earth takes over and you cannot see beyond it. The horizon is there because the surface is curved. If it were flat, there would be no horizon. On a clear day, instead of a sharp line between sea and sky, you would simply see the sea going on forever into the distance, way beyond 3 miles. It would simply gradually blend with the sky as it recedes mile after mile into the distance, even on the clearest of days. Is that what we see? This is all the proof I need that the surface of the earth is curved. It doesn't prove it's a globe, of course. It just proves that it's not flat. Thank you, John. Well, hopefully John's listening to this. John, if you get a chance, look at which ones should I mention? Let's mention my favorite currently, and that is go to Jeranism's channel and look up Flat Earth Boat and take a look at that. Yes, of course. If it was flat, here's the problem. One, you're looking through a sort of a soupy atmosphere. Remember, our atmosphere that we breathe is only 1 part oxygen to 4 parts nitrogen. 2, you're going to get some vanishing point issues with refraction. Take a look at Jeranism's video and tell me what you see in the distance. You're not going to get a clear line, and it's not going to go off forever. Distance, our atmosphere produces some horrible optical effects that create a blurry line, even a relatively short distance, even before 3 miles, in my opinion. So, no. I like it. You know what? The fact that you're addressing the topic, I give you respect for that, but you're not thinking big enough. A couple more emails we can do before the break. This one's from Karsten. Let's see, a bunch of stories talking about this because they asked me. Oh, yeah. Oh, because Bill Nye comes back in an article or interview, says, no, only one reel, when they were talking about all the telemetry tapes and all the data from the Apollo missions was lost. And the Bill Nye interview says, no, it was only one reel and it was lost by an Australian station, right? And so then they did some more research and they came back and they say, sorry, I was able to find them. What I couldn't find is where Bill Nye is getting his statement that only one reel was lost. It seems that all the tapes were erased as they attempted to examine them for the 40-year commemoration a few years back. However, they had Hollywood reproduce them with footage from aired broadcasts. They promised Hollywood didn't remake them, though. It is interesting the emotional reaction this and the flat earth topic invokes, usually pity, then scoff, then finally anger. Like a sitcom, it follows the same pattern, as if me not believing something hurts anyone. I have been discussing with the officers at my station, and my buddy, a neurologist, seems to take it the hardest. I was tired of getting beat up beat up on for it and was going to drop it till a 2-star admiral pulled me aside and told me, "You can't injure the truth. Keep asking and questioning." Awesome. And that's from Karsten Tyrone Smith. I think that's military out of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. So thank you very much for that. And yeah, I don't know where Bill Nye was coming up with that as well. That was a really interesting statement that he said, "Oh yeah, it's like somebody told him," or he had this canned answer. It's like, "Oh, only one reel was lost and it wasn't even American." It's like, no, they were all lost, all the telemetry tapes. Listen to the Joe Rogan's old stuff where he was talking about how they lost a truckload of data. It was just erased, and of course, that is what you would want to erase because the telemetry eventually, as nerds became better, and
reached the conclusion that Dylan Roof should be put to death for killing 9 African Americans at a Bible study session in Charleston in June of 2015. Roof, a self-proclaimed white supremacist, wrote in his journal that he had hoped to spark a race war. He was found guilty of 33 different charges. The Justice Department says he is the first person to get the death penalty for federal hate crimes. I'm Steve Kastenbaum.
55 million people are in the path of the latest wave of intense winter weather. According to the National Weather Service, much of the western U.S. will be hit by relentless rain and snow as another powerful storm moves onshore late tonight. California, Nevada, and other parts of the West are already grappling with heavy snow, flooding, and mudslides. Parts of California have already seen more than 15 inches of rain over the past week, and higher elevations could see 5 feet of snow. I'm Ann Cates.
You are now tuned into the Truth Frequency.
We are TFR. TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Major Kong. Primary target the ICBM complex at Laputa. Switch all receiver circuits to CRM discriminators. What's cooking on the threat board? Alright, tell you what you better do, old buddy. You're gonna give Elmo and Charlie a flash, man. Bump everything up to condition written. Stand by the floor on the base. Major Kong. Major Kong. Hey, what about Major Kong?
Clear and plain and coming through fine.
What about me?
It's great to be fine.
What about me?
What's happened? You see the string in my leg scarring.
What about Major
I never told you.
Hey, what about Major Kong?
welcome back to Strange World, part 3 of 4. I got to do a shameless plug before we get to our phone call. And that is go to marksargent.com. That is the subscription site, and closedworld.com, of course, is the free site. But marksargent.com, a lot of exclusive content. If you don't like it, don't pay for it. Normally I'd be jumping over to Flat Earth News about right now. But we do have New York on the line. Are you there, New York?
Hey, Mark. It's Mark.
Hey!
I'm a little nervous.
Now, that's not true. I absolutely know you're not nervous. Are you even sober when you call me?
Not always.
Oh, okay. At least you're honest.
I mean, yeah, most of the time, but not always.
Oh, that's cool. What's going on?
Hey, I got a quote for you.
Yeah.
Get your facts first, and then you can distort them as much as you please. Mark Twain. And that's in reference to John B. Steven Seagal over there. Oh my God, this guy.
Mark Twain has had he's done wonderful quotes over the years. I mean, he was officially a humorist, and he's also the author of a little-known book that I didn't even that he wrote. I think after because he was friends with Nikola Tesla. Called Mysterious Stranger, about how the devil went to Europe in the centuries ago and was educating children on the world, on how the world worked. It's a dark little tale. Never finished it, but it's out there. You can find it on the internet if you want. Hey, real quick, before I forget, the Peanut Gallery mentioned that because I was talking about how Bill Nye didn't think that the Apollo 11 tapes all the moon tapes were lost, and he referenced an article from NPR called "Houston, We Erased the Apollo 11 Tapes." That was done. I'm sorry, what?
No, I'm sorry, I was laughing.
Oh yeah, that was back in 2009 when they ran that story. And it was very interesting that, it's absolutely true. They did erase them. I'm sorry, if they even had them in the first place, but they absolutely had to destroy the evidence. So, if NPR, if you find somebody more credible than NPR, I'd like to hear it. So you can't say that, wow, NPR got their story wrong. NPR like quadruple checks all their stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That just bothers me that they could even come out and say something that outlandish. Oh, we recorded over and we lost them. Oh, really?
Yeah, exactly.
Humanity?
Yeah. By the way, the Peanut Gallery wanted to counter your quote with a quote of his own.
Nice.
And he says, I come from New York where if you fall down, someone will pick you up by your wallet.
You got that right.
That's from Al McGuire, whoever that is.
You got a problem with that?
That's awesome. I never heard that one. So, do you have an opinion on the John B. Wells attacks as of recent?
Yeah, I feel sorry for him because I mean, if he's not a shill, he's just embarrassing himself. With the social style attacks. Oh, you're stupid. This is stupid. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Look at the facts first. Be reasonable, open-minded. You can still have your opinion and say absolutely no. It's still a globe, but really just be subjective. Don't just attack.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for him because he's sucked into the flat earth now for good.
Oh yeah. He's not getting out of this thing because he doesn't. I don't know if he thinks with other conspiracies you can argue your way. You can punch your way out of that paper bag. Because eventually, you sooner or later, the people will give up fighting you. But with Flat Earth, there's just people lined up to take shots at him. And the more he struggles, the worse it'll get. It's like a Chinese finger trap. And
I agree. I mean, you can only call someone an asshole so many times. Even though I love Flat Earth asshole, that's his name. But after that, it gets old. I mean, come on, just have a subjective look at the facts.
Now, part of it, I hate to say this because I don't want to ruin his moment, whatever he's creating. Part of it could be is that he's savvy enough in the media world that he knows that good or bad controversy generates ratings. And he came at this thing not soft at all. He's like, I'm coming for you, flat earthers. I can't do his voice, but it's like, and if you're gonna take me make it a dark alley and make it from behind. That was the most weirdly sexual thing I've heard him say in a long time. Don't know where he was going with that. So anyway, hopefully we'll get some sort of closure on him. I don't know if he'll eventually do a debate or if he'll do an episode where he's going to state, I'm never talking about this again. But I think he tried to do that with DITRH, and where he said, I'm not going to deal with this. And now he's probably, who knows, maybe one of his producers said, look, you're getting more email now than you have in years. So why don't you run with it?
There's no such thing as bad press, right?
No, there isn't. Not for something like this. And look, he hasn't done anything big in quite some time. So more power to him.
You listened to that just recently with David and Paul something, their discussion, and he was doing the same thing. He was just laughing, giggling, not really trying to look at the facts, just automatically coming up with, the mainstream science without explaining it, just saying, oh, well, this is what it is. That's what they said. But why is it that? And no facts.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see where it goes with this, but I'm curious. Joe Rogan did it for quite a while, and I don't know what he's doing now. Maybe he's having second thoughts, or maybe he realizes he can't win. That's that's generally, I think, how it goes. Look, if you realize that no matter what, you have an unlimited supply of people that are going to come at you, I think eventually you're going to grow tired of it. One more good one from him. Oh, by the way, that Alfred McGuire, apparently he was the head coach of Marquette in the 60s and the 70s.
Oh.
And he the other quote that guy said was, "The only mystery in life is why the kamikaze pilots wore helmets." It's funny.
Exactly. Yeah, true. Why, right?
Yeah. If you're going down, where the hell? Why are you wearing helmets at all?
That's true.
Anything else?
Quick thing, yeah.
What?
I want to get straight because this has been annoying me for a while.
Yeah.
I keep hearing everyone say that the horizon is 3 miles away. And it doesn't make sense to me because I could stand here in the black dirt, which are these big fields, thousands upon thousands of black dirt acres where they grow onions, big flats. And I can see mountains that are 20 miles away.
I think it's no. What I think they're saying is, and I don't want to misquote it. Hopefully, Peanut Gallery can figure that out for me. I think it's when you can see a small object, like a person, like you can only see a person on a clear day 3 miles away. Does that sound about right?
Okay.
So it's not that the horizon is 3 miles away. It's the limit of our detailed vision. We can't see, our human eyes can only see 3 miles without everything just crumbling. You know, we lose. We'll use a technical term. We lose resolution at 3 miles.
Sure. Okay.
So
okay.
That's which is coincidentally enough, you know, that made, again, I think that's one of how we were designed. Because remember all the old ship tales. That is, the ship leaves bow first, you know, it sinks over the horizon. And, well, back before there were binoculars or decent eyepieces at all. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Peanut Gallery comes in here. The Earth's surface curves out at a site of a distance of 3.1 miles or 5 kilometers, but our visual acuity extends far beyond the horizon. If Earth were flat, oh, really? Or if you were standing atop a mountain surveying a larger than usual patch of the planet, you could perceive bright lights hundreds of miles distant on a dark night. You could even see a candle flame flickering up to 30 miles away. Yeah, that's what science would say. Why we can't, yeah. But I still go to Jaron's video. There's so much distortion when you get out at a certain rate. It really sunk in when I watched those birds that he showed flying into nothing, disappearing into this blur that shouldn't be there, even though the boat was right beyond it, and the boat's hull was mirroring itself. And I was going, "Oh, that's ingenious." So
right, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I heard that and I was like, "Wait a minute, am I confused? Because that doesn't make sense." You know, I see farther than that.
Oh yeah. We can, but our resolution, our human detail. Again, our eyes are not terrible, but our detail starts failing at 3 miles.
Yeah, because I kept doing every time, like I said, from the very beginning. I think the very first time I called you, I told you ruined my vacation because I spent the whole time, the very first weekend that I heard you back in, I guess it was summer of 15.
Yeah, summer of 15.
Is that when you started?
Yep.
No, when did you?
Yeah.
Right.
The Strange World started up in beginning late spring or beginning of summer.
Okay, yeah, and and I just laughed because I love being at the shoreline, and you can see, wow, I mean, amazing distances. But like you said, the people right along the shore would disappear. You couldn't even see them.
Yeah.
You know, and you knew that there were people there because they just walked past you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've got to crank out more emails and do more stuff. So, by the way, did you notice I changed the music?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Well, we'll have to.
Warriors is one of my favorite movies.
I figured you'd like The Warriors since it's a New York-based movie that was like banned in a lot of different places.
We grew up playing that. We were idiots running in the streets pretending we were the different gangs, all our friends from our neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you guys Yeah, New Zealand. We were stupid.
Yeah. Anyway, I got to pick up this call, but thank you. Hey, I'll talk to you next week, okay?
Alrighty, cool.
Right,
Take it easy.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You are on live with Strange Worlds. Sorry it took me so long to pick you up. Where are you from? What are we talking about?
Hey, Mark.
Yes.
Am I getting through?
God. Yes.
Hi
Go
there.
ahead.
Hi. I don't know if I'm getting through.
You don't know if you're getting through?
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm talking to Mark Sargent.
Oh, jeez. Yes, you are talking to Mark Sargent.
Yeah. Okay. This is Daryl Croswell. Are you in Vic right now?
No, I'm down near Seattle right now.
Okay. I'm just calling you. I can't wait for the mixer and Sue. I'm going to be there.
It's not necessarily a mixer, just so you know, but I will be there.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm just going to go there and hang out because I need to get out of town for the weekend anyway.
Oh, cool.
I had a couple things I wanted to talk about.
Sure.
First of all, like, you look for content specialists, right?
Mm-hmm.
I work in the visual effects industry, and aside from like all of those obvious green screens with NASA, like NASA is like my big pet peeve.
Yeah.
Thanks to you.
Yeah.
And
you're welcome.
I don't know if I'd call myself a content specialist, but
you've dealt with a lot.
I also
imaging.
Well, yeah, like I'm a CG artist, and right now specifically, every night, like I'm working night shift. I left work right now to give you a call on my break.
Yeah.
Because I always catch the show, and I specifically undistort camera footage, like plates I get in or shots for films and stuff like that, and like it's not even like fisheye lens stuff. It's like they just use a really, really, really wide lens all the time, because like even in the foreground, like the satellites, the quote unquote satellites are like totally distorted. It's such a load of garbage. And I don't know. I just thought, like, if you ever wanted me to like analyze them, I could do it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I also wanted.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I bug you every week by email, so I just thought I'd call in this one time.
No, feel free to call in. No, it's nice to put a voice with the emails. I do remember. Yeah, you send me quite a few emails.
Yeah. I like the whole world's life's so different now that I've been looking into this since you were on Coast to Coast. And at first it was just like, oh, this guy's awesome. Like, I'm conspiracy hardcore like you. Like, even if I didn't believe it, the weirder the better, right?
Yeah.
But that's what I felt at first, and I just remember listening to you. I was like, holy crap, this guy's like awesome. But I kind of like was like, ha ha, and I talked to my buddies at work about it. But now it's just like it's not a joke. It hasn't been a joke for about a year now.
No.
I'm just completely.
No.
So all I do all day, I even listen to Eric.
Oh, it's all right. Eric puts out some good stuff.
Yeah. He's got great stuff. It's just, I honestly, I don't like how he talks about you sometimes, to be honest. But I don't want to get into the infighting and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I know.
What else did I want to say to you? Oh, this stuff that's happening in Antarctica right now is nuts.
Yeah.
Like Buzz Aldrin got flown out of there sick on the 30th, I think.
Yeah, just before the end of the year. John Kerry went down there during the election. So,
I know, like, it's absolutely blowing my mind. and no one will take me seriously, but I also wanted to put out there, like this Antarctica thing that's happening like right now is crazy. And if there's anyone in Vancouver that wants to do a like beer night or whatever you call it, salon or something like that, or just get
Well, here,
get in touch.
do this. Give out. You want to give out your email address?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So if somebody wants to do a mixer in Vancouver, Flat Earth, and I'm sure there's quite a few people up there in Vancouver. Contact. Go ahead.
Daryl Croswell.
Okay.
At I'll just give you my personal address.
Spell it. Spell the email address.
Seeing Sound, all one word. SEEINGSOUND @gmail.com.
Seeingfound@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I will also be in Souk. And I had a whole list of stuff that I wanted to talk about, but I know your show is only a couple hours.
There's only so much time I can give you a call, but call next time. I mean, we got time. I'm going to have at least one more show before the Souk thing, so.
Yeah, that next week I'll try to call in next week, and also I love that Mark guy from New York. I always love his calls. Just wanted to say hi to him, and I don't know, man, you changed my life. About a year and a half ago. So thank you very much.
And you're very welcome for what it's worth. Hopefully you didn't lose too much sleep, but yeah, I know what you mean, man. The world's a different place now.
Well, friends, sleep. Respect from other people. But I don't care. I'm obsessed because this is for real.
Yeah, I know.
I can't believe this is actually happening.
I know. It's the only thing that matters, really. I mean, there's so many things that don't matter to me anymore. I look at this and I'm like going, okay, well, now my priorities have completely changed. So
I'm just glad I've got a really, really faithful, nice, non-judging girlfriend because she gets sick of it sometimes.
That's nice.
But no, Flat Earth Clues. Everybody out there should be checking that out to start off, and then if you want to get crazy, go into
there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of other people.
Marty Weasel.
Marty Lee's got some good stuff. ODD's got some good stuff. Jaron, Globebusters.
I love Jaron.
Hey, there's so many people out there that you could go with. But anyway, thank you, and make sure you definitely tap me on the shoulder and tell me who you are, or when you get to Souk, and I'll see you there. Okay.
Yeah. I will definitely see you there, and again, thank you for everything. My life's completely different. Thank you.
Right on, and hey, you have a good night.
Okay, good night.
All right, bye-bye. Okay, do we have time for Flat Earth News? Yes, we do. And all I'm doing here is I'm going into YouTube, I'm typing in Flat Earth, and I'm setting the filter. Yes, there are filters on YouTube. You can set it to year, month, week, today, last hour, and I just set it to this week. And what pops out at me in the last week for Flat Earth? Let's see. Richie from Boston created Flat Earth and Portal in the Center of the Sunproof 2017. That's got almost 10,000 hits in a week. That's pretty good considering Richie only has... Oh, wow. He's got 37,000 subscribers. Good for you, Richie. Thank you for being on board. That Mark Sargent guy, of course, did a promo for Flat Earth Radio Show, Flat Earth Awakening, and I also had a little fun. I did a fun Flat Earth reinforcement with Saruman. Just so you know, the original singing thing where Saruman is singing to everyone down below, all the Lord of the Ring characters, I didn't create that. That was done by somebody years ago, and they realized that there was a European singer whose voice sounded a lot like Christopher Lee of Saruman, and they matched it up. It was beautiful, and so I just kind of took that and overlaid some graphics and words, and I thought that was kind of fun. Let's see. Antonio Subarats, Flat Earth, Bill Nye's Fantastic Lies, excellent. Nathan Oakley, Flat Earth United Kingdom. Let's see here. Quasi-Luminous, slowing down a little bit. He's only got like 4 or 5 videos this week. Of course, Flat Earth Asshole versus John B. Wells, round 1 and round 2. Good for him. But, he was the guy that pushed John B. Wells over the edge, and I'm so glad that he's attacking. History of the Flat Earth by the NASA channel. Matt, 2.5 hours long. I still haven't gotten through that thing. Let's see. That's just page 1. Let's see if anybody on page 2. Trigger Happy, Flat Earth Cringe compilation. Russian vids, the Nikon P900 footage proves the sun is in the Flat Earth Sky Dome. See if there's anybody else that kind of sticks out. Paul Sandu, question Flat Earth. Why is it hottest in the afternoon rather than the evening? Awesome. Glad he's still doing stuff. Causing Loomis, Antarctic Warrior, Earth Discussions. We'll go to page 3, and then we'll go straight back to emails. I did an interview 6 days ago called by the Merseyside Skeptic Society. That was out of England. They called me and did an interview, and that was kind of fun, and they didn't roast me too badly. Orphan Red, Flat Earth Electric Sky, New Theory for the Blue Sky. Glad that Sasha is still cranking them out. Flat Earth Hub. And see if there's anybody else. Of course, Flat Earth Q&A emails compilation. Oh, yeah, if anybody, I can't forget. And then, of course, my Flat Earth enemy, John B. Wells, that I created. If anyone has a Flat Earth license plate, we are collecting them. Send me a screenshot. It doesn't have to be the actual plate. It can also be the screenshot from the Department of Licensing before you get the plate. I will use it in the slideshow. Right now, we have, let me rattle them off to you super quick like. What do we got? License plates, because you'll see a new one in this one that I'm doing right now. License plates. Where are the license plates? 1 second. License plates. Let's see. That's not even the latest, I don't think. Canada, Germany. Ontario, Germany, Arizona, California. 2 of them. Saskatchewan, Delaware, Illinois, Iowa, Montana, North Carolina, Nevada, Mississippi. 2 in New York. 2 in Texas, 1 in Utah, 1 in Virginia, Washington. It goes on and on. Please, if anybody, you have 6 or 7 or 8 letters, do fun stuff. Most of the ones we've done so far are It's Flat, which is a variation of, or some sort of variation of It's Flat. It can be ITSFLT, IATSFLT in a number. Some people have done Flat Earth, which is FLATRTH. California and New York have the ability to do 8 letters, so get really creative with that. Another guy that's doing one is going to say No Curve. Seriously, it's a great way of putting it out there, starting a conversation with people, or not starting a conversation. If they just look at your license plate and scratch their head and look really confused, it's in their head. Maybe they'll look it up later. You don't know. So awesome. Thank you for that. And let's get right back into emails. Let's get out of Flat Earth News. And let's see. This one is from 42 Degrees. Don't know why they call it. Hey, Mark, found a possible clue depending on your timeline. I think they may have known before Byrd's last expedition if you look into it a little bit. The official name of the Pledge of Allegiance was adopted in 1945. The last change in language came on Flag Day, 1954, when Congress passed a law which added the words "under God" after one nation. In 1954, at President Dwight D. Eisenhower's urging, the Congress legislated that "under God" be added, making the pledge read, "I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all." And that's from Britannica.com. Just an idea I'm diving into, continuing a bit further, but I haven't noticed anyone mention that yet. Maybe they have, and I'm just behind.
Behind the curtain conspiracies of the elites, controversial science and research, and delving into the paranormal. Enemy Within is a truly interactive show. Join us in the chat room on Truth Frequency Radio and add a conversation on air. Challenging the narrative with debate and new perspectives. It's time to lift the lid on what's hidden in plain sight. The same ones that took away his voice and just left his instrumental like that.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
No hate, no hype, no fear. Real people, real radio.
Welcome back to Strange World, part 4 of 4. And yeah, that actually was Joe Jackson stepping out from his album Night and Day. And it wasn't supposed to be actually Joe Jackson. So it was supposed to be the replacement. So maybe the end of the show is going to be the remix. We'll have to see. I will send the I'll send the details to the studio guy and see if we can get that fixed. But yeah, that was Joe Jackson. It could be the last time you actually hear Joe Jackson because remember, he seems to have gotten new rights. So let's take the phone calls. This one's from 502. And I would imagine this is 502 area code.
Right.
Hey,
Brian.
Hey, Brian, what's going on?
Not much. What's going on with you?
Well, doing a show.
No way.
Yeah, it's true. True, we're online.
Yeah, I know you. I never knew you had a show.
So funny. Thanks, man. That's awfully nice. What's what do you want to talk about? You mentioned some things to me earlier today, and you had a couple points which I thought were pretty interesting. You want to break them down?
Sure, I'll try to break it down.
Okay.
All right. So, NASA put out this whole thing about the actual gravitation of the Earth. Right?
Okay, like a graph, a 3D graph showing all the gravitational pulls of the entire Earth.
Right, where gravity's strongest and
where the
weakest
gravity's
and all
strongest.
that.
Yeah.
Due to, quote, land mass makes it, heavier.
Oh yeah. Like if you had a serious vein of iron, something super dense. If you believe in the celestial model, then you're going to have stronger gravity in that area. Sure.
No, they did this, and they did it. I sent you the picture. Maybe put it up, or people can look it up.
Yeah.
In exaggeration, they amplified it to show how non-shaped the Earth is with all this gravity and all that.
Yeah, and the article, by the way, is on earthobservatory.nasa.gov, and it's called Gravity Recovery and Climate Experiment. Gravity Anomaly Maps and the Geoid.
So, they put this nice thing out saying, India has the lowest gravity, lowest area.
Yeah.
And then over there and around Hawaii and the Pacific, it's higher, so it gets all oblong and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, I was like, yeah, that's great science, whatever. And I saw another article I was reading about Mount Everest.
Okay.
And Mount Everest is not the tallest mountain from the center of the Earth.
Okay.
It's actually, given which it is, but Hawaii is taller than Mount Everest from the center of the Earth.
And that article was from the La Crosse Tribune. It's called "The Other View: Mount Everest and the Fat, Not Flat Earth."
Right.
Yep. Got it.
Both articles make great scientific points and all that. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
However, then you put them together and think about it. So what they're saying, if Hawaii is taller than Mount Everest on the planet,
gravity-wise,
yeah. Well, they also say because that's the lower part of the oceans and everything else too.
Yeah.
That means the water around Hawaii is higher up on this, quote, sphere from the center of the Earth than the water over by Everest around India, the Indian Ocean and all that.
Okay.
Well,
can't be.
It doesn't make much sense. Right. It doesn't make spherical world. It doesn't make sense. If the Earth was formed, quote, from meta articles or standard science knowledge, one can quote article.
Yeah.
Earth was formed spinning around, caused gravity, caused everything to form together and make the ball. And granted, your hero, Mr. Tyson, it's slightly fat at the equators because of the spinning.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't account for Hawaii's water being so much higher than. And we're talking what, miles difference?
Yeah, a couple miles.
Right. We're not talking about land mass. We're talking about the water. If you think about it, the water around Hawaii would be higher than the water around India.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that can't be. Yeah,
not on their idea of a spherical gravity in the middle pulling everything to the center. If that was the case, then all the water should be equal around the globe.
Yeah, and then you take into account the tides, which was an interesting article you sent me, Just a simple educational from howstuffworks.com. What causes high and low tides? Why are there 2 tides each day? And you combine that with what you were just saying, and it gets really weird. Because the moon they say, well, the moon affects the tides, and they show this oblong magnetic field around the Earth that syncs up with the moon as it rotates around the Earth. And how does what you're talking about, the high and low water, how does that get affected? Wouldn't we see a massive bulge of water shifted around the world on a regular basis? Not just a few low tides and high tides, but you'd see, somewhere out in the middle of somewhere, islands being covered up.
Yep. So the question is out there, and maybe somebody else can do more research, is what I'm hoping, if everybody else is interested. So, how up in Canada, the tide can drop, 6 feet or something like that?
Yeah, more, yeah.
Yeah. But in Florida, it only drops, maybe a foot or 2, probably.
Oh, yeah, because
not that much.
If the tide was any higher, any more extreme in Florida, there would be no Florida. No one would live there, because Florida is almost entirely at sea level.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the other part of that tide thing I laughed at, was the reason for the second tide, the tide that happens when the moon's on the opposite side of the planet, is because the Earth is pulled towards the moon slightly, leaving the water behind slightly.
Okay.
As in, the Earth moves so fast that the water is left, and that gives you some kind of high or low tide or whatever.
Yeah.
To pull. So all 3 pieces by themselves, you can go decide, it makes sense. But when you put all 3 together, it makes no sense.
No.
Because the tides makes no sense at all.
No.
Now, I was watching, what was it? How the Universe Works. Love that show.
Yeah.
The other day, they had a thing about electromagnetism.
Okay.
Whole hour on it. So, first thing I picked up, they were talking about atoms orbiting around, electrons, protons, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why they're held together is the electromagnetism.
Yep.
And as I was watching, I was like, that looks just like, quote, the moon spinning around the Earth. Electromagnetism, not gravity. They never talked about gravity holding anything together. Electromagnetism. They even went into the planet's electromagnetism is what protects us and everything else. So you put them all together with the gravitational, and then I showed you a long time ago when I first started talking to you with the polar shifts, the magnetic north and south moving, and they're not an axis.
Okay, say it one more time.
The magnetic north and south are not on the axis.
Oh, yeah.
North pole moves and shifts.
Yep.
And there's not.
Yep.
So if you put that out on your flat plane model,
mm-hmm.
it makes more sense than a spherical. As in, if your creators or whoever made it and all that set up those points underneath.
Oh, yeah.
To hold everything.
Yep.
And then the water would make more sense. You could pull water higher or lower on a flat plane easier than a sphere spinning.
Oh, dude, you're preaching to the choir here. You know me, what I've said there. And that is, look, if the moon is only 30 miles across, the last thing you're going to want to try to do is control the tides with it. It's because at that you'd have to use an incredible amount of energy, and then it'd be directional, and oh god, the havoc it would wreak. You control the tides and everything down on the ground electromagnetically from below. It's easy. We can do this now in simulations. Heck, we do this in some experiments. It's way easier to do it, and especially since the oceans are 3% salt solution, and now the oceans can conduct electricity to a point. You don't even have to get super complex with the electromagnetics at all. So, and one more thing, a listener, and I probably mentioned this to you, and a listener wrote me and actually called me, and some other people have mentioned this as well, and that is, for all the talk about tides and electromagnetic forces, he goes, it's really interesting that no matter how big a lake is, a lake or a sea or whatever you want to call it, if it's a contained body of water, the tide doesn't affect it. The tidal forces don't affect it. It's like, how does that happen? Because isn't everything contained, technically? Isn't everything?
Technically, yes. But I can answer that I'll answer that from the sciences.
Oh, okay. Yeah, please do.
Right. So they were saying is the mass of water that has to be pulled up from the center. So the moon's over the Atlantic Ocean. The center of the Atlantic Ocean gets enough water pulled up, kind of a domino effect is what shrinks it from the shore, is what they say.
Yeah, it's not bad, but there's some really deep lakes out there.
Right. But see, here's the thing again. That makes sense by itself.
Yeah.
But if that was the case, then Canada's shore and Florida's shore should have equal drops.
Yeah.
And they don't.
No.
It's kind of like when you talk about the core of the Earth. They come up with, it's like this.
Yeah.
But when you dig into it, it's like, well, we really don't know.
No. Yeah. And science will put that in Wikipedia. They'll say in so many scientific terms, we absolutely have no idea what's down below when you start digging below 8 miles. We have no idea. But we extrapolate based on volcanic formations. It's like even the volcanic system only goes down so far. So what are you extrapolating beyond that? And then, sorry, I not to go off on a rant here, but where they completely lose me is when they say, oh yeah, not only here's a cross section of Earth, here's a cross section of every other planet in your solar system. And it's like, whoa. It's like Earth is one thing. You want to take a shot there, that's fine. You're going to tell me what the cross section of Jupiter is? How?
You can't even get to the surface.
Yeah, you can't even get to the surface of Jupiter with anything. How can you tell me what the entire core of Jupiter is? Sorry.
But here's a good one. My son brought up a good point.
Yeah.
Today, actually, we're talking about the gravity, we were talking about the magnetism and all that. And then he said, because the Earth's core is iron. I was like, and I thought about it, I was like, well, how do we know it's iron?
Yeah.
And you know what he said? It was great.
What?
He said, because of the magnetism, iron's a good conductor from magnetism to create the fields and all that. He just did that Dilbert cartoon.
Yeah, he did the Dilbert, the circular argument. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, well, that and then I'm sorry that you want to watch a movie that I can't really even watch anymore, although it was entertaining at the time, was The Core.
Oh, that was so terrible.
Oh.
I keep watching it. Yes.
Where you had, and that was the first use of the element of unobtainium. People thought that was from Avatar. No, it was from The Core, which was years earlier, where they had that the metal that got stronger. It basically an adamantium metal
got stronger as
the pressure got greater. And then they just kept describing the core of the Earth in detail. That liquid spinning center. The government screwed up somehow. Oh my God.
Oh, hey, real quick before I jump off here, you get other calls.
Yeah.
The last caller about seeing with the eyes and all that.
Yeah.
There's a good point everybody forgets. Your eyes can't see any distance besides where they are. Light travels to your eye.
Yeah.
So you can see, quote, as far as something can shine.
There you go.
Because the light has to hit your eyes.
Yeah.
You can't really see any distance.
Good point. Now you're getting to the Eric Dollard arguments, though, where he says that light doesn't even, you can't even see anything unless there's matter to shine on.
Right.
So.
Exactly. Because, how far can you say 3 miles, but how far can you see right now in the night when you go out? Not far.
Good point. Yeah, good point.
Unless there's light.
Yeah.
So.
A lot of factors. We'll get into that.
But the point of that is, real quick, if light from the object's coming to you, it's going through the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Your, what do you call it, soup.
Yeah.
Atmosphere stores light, so you're going to lose it. So, yeah.
What's sad is, and I said this in one of my in the last interview that I did, which was, if we could just for a couple minutes turn our atmosphere into a vacuum, we could solve this thing in 2 seconds. But of course, everyone would be dead. So,
yeah.
But yeah.
Right.
Anyway, another call is calling in. But thank you, man.
Not a problem. Have a good one.
All right, see you, man. Bye.
Bye.
352 area code. Where are you? Who are you? What are we talking about? And don't be nervous.
This is Robert in Ocala, Florida.
Hey, you're in the state we were just talking about.
Yep, heard that. I just wanted to add, I haven't heard it mentioned.
Yeah.
We have a river here called the St. John's River.
Okay.
You ever heard of it?
I have not. Although it's not related to St. John's University, I don't think.
No. It's the St. John's River, and it runs 310 miles, and it runs south of Melbourne out of what they call the St. John's Swamp.
Okay.
And it runs all the way to Jacksonville.
Okay.
All right, and it's managed by the St. John's Water Management. Okay?
Okay.
And you can go onto their site and ask them because it runs north. And there's not many that run north.
Okay.
And you ask them, why does it run north? Because you people assume that Jacksonville is more elevation than South Florida. And
Sure.
they'll tell you because Melbourne is 30 feet higher than Jacksonville.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, and what I'm trying to figure out, okay, 30 feet, and also it runs through the center of one of the biggest lakes, which is Lake George, which I think is 12 miles from the longest point to the longest point.
That's a pretty big lake.
Yeah, big lake.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you do the mathematics on that, that would only be 12 miles of drop.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. You mean 12 miles of curvature?
Yeah, if you do the 8 inches per mile to the mile squared.
Yeah. So it's 12 times 12, which is 144 times 8, divided by 12. Somebody do that for me. Yeah.
It's something like 63,000 feet.
No. It's not. No, it's not like that. It's somebody, peanut gallery, do that for me. 144 times 12 divided by 8. I don't have my calculator in front of me.
No, I'm just saying. I went to there's an automatic calculator out there.
Yeah.
And if you put instead of 6 foot as the eye level, if you put that at 0 and put in the 310 miles, they'll tell you it's right at a 12-mile curvature.
Got it.
Okay, so anybody that thinks that we live on a ball, I want somebody to tell me how you can get a river that long.
Yeah.
Okay, and have it run uphill.
Oh yeah. No, I totally got you. I mean, the other people have talked about the Suez Canal. Perfect example. Right. You know, it's like, well, how is that thing running? Or let's go back in time a little ways before they even knew about the curvature. The Roman aqueducts. You know, those were precision things. How in the world did they get fresh water if they didn't know about the curve? Because all their building stuff would have been off.
Right.
So,
well,
yeah.
I'm just going by what I can do because I'm 70 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, and until I start watching some of your stuff, I never gave it a thought.
I know.
I used to drive tractor trailer back and forth from Florida to Los Angeles once a week.
Yeah.
Okay, and I had to calculate my fuel mileage for my boss.
Yeah.
You know, it had to be down to the dollar.
Yeah.
And all I can tell you is it didn't change.
Yeah. I hear you now.
I mean, I've pulled some grades, and I know when I'm pulling grades, and it just ain't there. You can't find it.
I know. Believe me, I wanted to find it too. I was hoping actually in the middle of 2015, I was hoping that I was wrong. I was hoping this cannot be the case, because if it is, then it's the greatest. It's what P.T. Barnum always said, which was you can fool all of the people some of the time.
Right.
It's like, wow, it's brilliant. It's the greatest trick ever.
Right. Well, it's the Lake Pontchartrain Causeway.
Yep.
You've heard of that?
Yep.
It's we're at it a little over 20 miles.
Yep.
I've drove across that, and I went and checked the sea. If you check the sea level at each end, it's 12 inches of sea level at each end. But yet, when you do the measurement, it's like 400 feet.
Yeah.
I can't find it.
Yep.
There's one little bump, where the boats can go underneath it. And when you're in a tractor trailer, you know when you're climbing.
Yep. I hear you.
Pulling 80,000 pounds.
I absolutely hear you.
Okay,
Hey man, I hate to do this to you, but I want to squeeze in a couple more calls, or at least one more before I shut off for the night.
One thing is about it. In other words, the big dogs with the PhDs.
Yeah.
They had to make balls out of all the lights in the sky, right? They made them all into a ball.
Yep.
And if you know anything about big dogs, every time you turn around, he's licking his balls.
Nice. Thank you. And with that, I will say goodbye to you, but you have a good night, okay?
Okay, thank you for your time and patience.
Okay, bye-bye. You are on live with Strange World. You might be the last call of the evening. Where are you and who are you? And don't be nervous.
Hey, Marcus. Thanks for taking my call. This is Nate Say, also known as Kevin from Minnesota, calling my other line.
Hey.
Have you ever drove to the mountains?
I used to live in Colorado for 20 years, so yeah, been there a few times.
So coming across Highway 70, you're heading to the mountains, okay?
Yep.
So all of a sudden across the horizon, you see the tip of the mountain.
Yep.
And then as you get closer, you see more of the mountain. If it was a flat Earth, wouldn't you see the entirety of the mountain all at once?
Depending on where you're looking from. So if you're saying I'm driving
on Highway 70,
going
straight west into the mountains, it's the flattest road you can come. It runs it used to run east and west, but since the Earth has shifted, it's now running a little south.
All right. So thing is, you'd have to be the distance you'd have to be almost in freaking, let's say, if I'm going west, I have to start off way east of the mountains. But what you're saying that I shouldn't be able to, that I would only see the tip of the mountain and then it would start forming as I got closer and it would start sort of rising up?
Yes, you see it from the tip down. You don't see it from the base up. I've drone to California probably about 6 or 7 times.
Yep.
And as you get to Kansas and you start getting closer to the mountains, you see the tip of the mountain. You don't ever see the entirety of the mountains. And then as you get closer and closer, you see nothing but the entirety of the mountain. How would that be?
I gotta disagree with you there. Show me a video where that's actually the case. The community at large has created way too many videos and not too many on land, unfortunately. And I know you're talking about a flat place, but most of the videos we've done have been over water because it's way more, well, I shouldn't say reliable, but it's easier to do distance and deal with things like line of sight and refraction and all sorts of fun weather conditions. But
you're still not answering it, sir.
Well, I've never seen what you're talking about. And I lived in Colorado for 20 years.
You've never drove to the mountains?
I drove to the mountains all the time. But I never saw what you're talking about, where I only saw the tips and then the bases just rose out of nowhere. Show me a video where that's actually the case.
Okay, well, the same goes with you. Show me a video, but I'm blind. But then also, when you talk about the water all the time, why in the entire history of boats that they all have crow's nests? Why would they have a crow's nest if it wasn't to make up for the curvature of the Earth or the curvature of the water so that they can see things in a distance further away?
Oh no, the crow's nest, you still get a better vantage point at elevation. That doesn't change whether you're in a flat world or a round world. You will still get a better vantage point at elevation. Everybody knows that. I mean, when you go up in an airplane, you still get to see a much greater distance, but it's not because of the curvature of the Earth. It's just because of your vantage point.
Have you ever been on the ocean, sir?
I grew up on the beach.
That's not the same. I was in the military on the Navy, and I had friends that were single men, and I got the privilege of being up there in the yardarms.
Yeah.
Because I was also an antenna PO.
Yeah.
And when we would go out to sea, when I was up there, you would be able to see the land come above the horizon and other ships. Because there's a certain way.
Again,
you're single men.
You thought, again, I'm not going to pick too much, but you're going to have to watch more videos. I'm
blind, sir.
Oh, you actually are blind?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then listen to the video that one of the first testimony shows that I had with the Navy guy from
So, as I've told you before, I'd love to debate you, and I don't want to look at or review any of your stuff. I want to come into it totally ignorant, and I want you to convince me that it's flat, because I don't know 100% either way, but I do know whether it's flat or round, there's not a darn thing any of us can do about it, because the one fact that we do know is that the powers that should not be have been lying to us.
Honor and privilege for us to be here representing not only the United